We know that since the industrial era began, since the sixth age of globalization and into our time, we have had a massive expansion of human-induced pressures on the Earth's physical systems. As our scientists say, we are trespassing the planetary boundaries. Human action, especially the way that our economy functions, is creating multiple interconnected environmental dangers and massive environmental loss. And we're experiencing at least three major kinds of environmental crises, as I keep emphasizing. One is the crisis of human-induced climate change that has already put our climate worldwide out of the boundaries of the last 10,000 years. We now have a climate that is warmer than at any time in the last 10,000 years, and according to the scientists, warmer than at any time actually in the last 125,000 years, since the Eemian epoch, a geologic epoch 125,000 years ago. Well, this is leading to one kind of disaster after another, to heat waves and forest fires and droughts and floods and new kinds of pests and migration of species and actually the loss of habitat of species, some being driven towards or to extinction. The second great environmental challenge is the loss of functions of our ecosystems coming through land use change, especially deforestation, drying wetlands, and other losses to the basic functions of how our ecosystems work and how they support biodiversity. We're also driving species to extinction through over-harvesting or over-hunting or over-fishing. So the second great challenge is the collapse in many places of biodiversity, because other species can't stay alive if humans are taking all of their habitat away or changing the habitat in a fundamental way through climate change, or changing the habitat by diverting the flow of water or other human activities. The third and obvious environmental catastrophe is the mega pollution, and it's everywhere. It's the air pollution that claims millions of lives per year. It's the pollution of our soils. When farmers put in tens of millions of tons of phosphorus and nitrogen-based fertilizers that then run off and create eutrophication and algal blooms in the rivers and the estuaries around the world. The pesticides that are put onto the crops, all of this heavy chemical loading, meaning a massive level of pollution. So it's in the air, in the soils, in the food chains, in the oceans, where we find plastics and microplastics throughout the marine life that is captured, because plastics pollution has become so pervasive. And now electronic waste, which is often crated off on ship and dumped someplace in a poor country, and therefore suffering the environmental hazards of this massive waste. Well, that's quite a combination, and with 8 billion people on the planet and the world population rising by 75 million people per year and economic activity rising, we know that we have an absolute challenge on our hands. None of it is impossible to face, and the way to face it is overwhelmingly through smart technologies, through moderation in how we use resources, in recycling and reuse of materials, if we're smart, in other words, and we take all the measures to convert from fossil fuels to zero carbon energy sources, if we have materials that are biodegradable and reject single-use plastics that end up polluting the environment, if we stop the deforestation and stop the extensive agriculture, so-called, of extending the range of cattle ranching in the Amazon, or the clear cutting of tropical hardwoods in Southeast Asia, or the clearing of forests to plant palm oil plantations, if we are prudent and sensible and scientifically based, we can have a prosperous economy, even more energy resources than now because of the sunshine, the wind, the hydropower, the solar power, the ocean power that can be harnessed, but we have to do it in an intelligent way. So combining the economic well-being, what will continue to be a rise of the world's population, and facing these environmental crises to return us to conditions of environmental sustainability is the big challenge.